Hi everyone, this is Ishika Kesarwani and I welcome you all to the Tech Podcast. Today we are having Alistair Pugin with us. He's a CTO officer at NB Consultant and he's also Microsoft MVP. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad to have you here with us. Uh, I guess we can first start with getting to know a bit more about you.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. It's always exciting to talk to people that produce their own podcasts. And where in India are you?
I'm from Noida.
Where exactly in India is that?
It's in the north region near Delhi
Okay,
NCR. It's under
all
Delhi
right,
NCR.
all right. Okay, great. My name is Alistair Pugin. I, I am the CTO of NBConsult. We're a consulting services business in South Africa, and we have offices in Hong Kong and in the UK. I I'm an Azure and Microsoft 365 apps and services MVP. I've got to get the titles right because they're dual categories. And I live in Cape Town in South Africa, and that's where I'm broadcasting from right now because nowadays we broadcast from everywhere, right? Uh, I'm old because I'm going to be talking about COBOL, and most people don't even know what that programming language is. But yeah, I've been in the IT industry since 1995. So that's almost, I don't even know how long that is. It's almost 30 years, 27 years in the industry, and I've done a bunch of different things. And that's what I do today. I get people excited about technology. That's, I suppose, the easiest way to describe my role at my current company.
Man, that is amazing. So, since you've been in the IT industry for such a long time, so what exactly was your initial spark getting into this field and working in so many technologies? Because I'm pretty sure that you have already worked in a lot
My
of
dad
technologies already.
Yeah, my dad got me into computers. He bought me they call it a ZX Spectrum. It was something we plugged into the television in your lounge back in the 80s, and that got me hooked into programming. A basic was the language, and then my dad sent me to college to go become a programmer because at the time that was the future, right? And I wrote my exam. I'm a certified COBOL programmer, and I didn't get into programming at the time. And in South Africa, they were looking for junior programmers. I didn't quite get in, and I started in computer wholesale. I worked for a computer wholesale company. I started building PCs, and that's where my love for hardware, where I found my love for hardware, because you build a PC, you put a CPU into a ZIF socket, some RAM, a VGA card, power it on, load an operating system. Back then, we were still running DOS, and that was the exciting part of IT for me. And from there, you go from building PCs to managing computers to managing servers to managing the applications on servers to architecting solutions, and then you end up where I am today. Uh, I think I changed. It's about 2000, 2001. Went from infrastructure to worrying about applications that are hosted on servers like System Center, Active Directory, Exchange, all your identity management stuff, your mail, your messaging. And then I went across to enterprise content management, which is what you see now in Office 365, SharePoint, and Teams. And that's where I got hooked into the community side of things in about 2008. Um, a good friend of mine, Zlatan Zinic, introduced me to the community side of Microsoft, and I fell in love with all of that. Getting together with a bunch of like-minded individuals, learning through sharing your thoughts and opinions about technology, and that's what really sort of drove my passion behind where the world is today, and what technology actually means to people that are looking to learn more about where they want to go. They are interested in computers because they either gaming or they like the analytical side of things where they can do stuff with IoT and artificial intelligence, and that passion is really great to be around, and that's I suppose what has led me to me. I could never be a doctor or an accountant, Um, I used to tell people years ago, they say, why did you go into IT? And I said to them, well, I guarantee you, if I wake up tomorrow, there's going to be something new in IT that I don't know about. So it's a world of continuous learning. And you always, even more so now with cloud computing, where there's no release cycles anymore to an entire product update. In the old days, they'd bring out SharePoint 2010 or SQL 2008. And they would then say, well, you can run the program for 3 years and then we'll give you another version of the program. That's usually how Microsoft did it. So you'd go from SharePoint 2010 to 2013. Now, before they release the product, they would typically write a manual on how the product works, and you'd go for some training, and you'd then become an expert in the technology. And you'd be an expert for 3 years until the new version of the product comes out. Then you'll have to do that certification all over again. Now you're an expert in SharePoint 2013 and so forth, so on. But in today's world where updates are released weekly, it's almost impossible to stay an expert of the technology that you're working in, because we no longer study for 3, 4, 5 months on a product and then we're an expert in it for X amount of years. We literally learn every single day. There's a new feature in Teams, or there's a new feature somewhere in Azure. I mean, when we talk about Azure, I used to do a show called Azure Connect, and we were talking about the amount of releases, updates to Azure. It was over 500 in that year. I think it was 2017 or 2018. 500 updates. So it's very difficult to go from you've studied and now you're an expert to a state of continuous learning where every day you are learning more and more and more. And that's the world we're in today. So
Yeah, that's exactly the whole beauty of the IT industry. Maybe you consider it as a curse or as a positive point. People actually love to explore and learn more. And IT industry, there's always something coming up every day. So, it's just a very random question. So, if you have to change your field, except from IT, what will it be?
teaching, I'd love to be a teacher. I think
Hmm.
I've got kids, and they started getting into gaming, and I got them excited about being able to talk about hardware. They're like, Dad, where did you get that knowledge from? I said, well, this is what I did before you were born, right? And it would be teaching, because you can impart knowledge, help people grow, really. And I think teachers are unsung heroes of the world. And it's such an amazing journey to help foster innovation and growth and influence the way people think, right, at a young age, and help them decide and find out, who do they want to be when they grow up? Do I want to be an astronaut or a doctor? That's what kids, or a fireman. That's what kids chose in the past. But today it's a little bit different, right? I want to build a game. I want to write a game. I want to be a game developer or things like that. I want to be a crypto. I want to look into NFTs and crypto, right? That's where my kids are now. So I would definitely go into teaching. It's about community and helping people grow. That's really the value, right? That you derive, that helping people in general, right? They say if you're depressed, go help someone, you'll feel better. So I suppose going into teaching would be something, a separate
Yeah.
degree.
That is amazing. So you also talked about getting started with community in 2008 or 13, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? Why one should get started with it? Like the students, they don't usually know about such communities which are out there to help you out. What would you tell them, and why should they start getting into such communities and the work?
Look, I think Microsoft has done a great job at building community. And it was people, like-minded individuals and Microsoft didn't build the community built the community. That's the bottom line. They were just interested in helping people grow. It's a common theme within the world, right? Communities are important. It's pivotal to life. Getting started in community allows you to attend an online meeting or attend a webinar, and you then get to see industry experts talk about technology, and that's great. It's it's free learning, right? That's the first thing. You get to meet people. Once COVID is officially over, you'd physically go to a building and go meet 20, 30, 40 other people, and you'd start to build your connections with other people, your networks that way. So it's great for people to attend that, just for the interactivity between people at attending the meetup, right? You go to meetup.com, that's typically where everything gets scheduled. And it's just great for you to learn new things. And Microsoft does really well across the entire product stack, from Azure to Microsoft 365 to Dynamics to Power Platform. There's huge initiatives. So if you go to techcommunity.microsoft.com, sign up, and they will definitely help to point you in the right direction for local community leads, where you can follow them either on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or your social media application of choice, TikTok, Snapchat, all the hip stuff that kids nowadays are on. And follow these people, and you can learn from them, and it's great, and it's free, right? It's literally free. And if you have a need for a community event, create your own one. Reach out to, we always talk about in the Microsoft community, it's almost as if it's 2 degrees of separation, right? Where you'll attend an event and you'll ask a question, and that person doesn't know the answer. Chances are they know someone that does, instead of 6 degrees of separation. And that's always been great for us in the community, is that chances are you're going to meet someone that will be able to help you out if you have a question about anything, topic, how to build community, what the entire process looks like, and everyone's ready to help you out. When it comes to building a community and providing you with the necessary resources, speakers, trying to help you with sponsorships for funding for these events, because it's not easy. But that's what the community is really all about. And also, everyone loves sharing, right? You can learn so much from that camaraderie, friendship. Most of my best friends are from that I've met through the community. Across the globe, and it's you foster relationships with people, and whenever you need help, you've got a question, you can always just reach out. The social media community is so big across multiple platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's easy to, and everyone wants to help everyone else. So that's why I encourage people to get involved in community, because that leads everywhere. I'm here because of community and my involvement in community.
I second that, because whatever I am right now is just because of the community. Like recently, I went to this event by Microsoft only, and over there I got to know about so many opportunities that are there in open source. Like I didn't knew people participated in such open source events for design. That is something which I learned, and the best way to learn something is through getting to know about people and their experiences. So that is something very cool. And that's the power of community, because over there people are more than ready to teach you and to tell you about the opportunities which are present for you. So I guess one should definitely participate in a community, at least be a part in it.
Well, show up and listen to people speak. You don't have to come off mute. You don't have to say anything. Just attend one. And if you're too shy, that's also fine. Go sit in the crowd, listen to the speaker and the bunch of people asking questions. There's no rules to it. You don't have to go there with 5 questions that you need to ask the person. Just go. It's usually they'll give you free food. There's cool swag, right? So cool bag, t-shirts. I'm all about the stuff you get, right? Bottles, cups, those
That's
things.
the best part of the community.
Yeah.
You get so many swags.
You do, right? It's like,
yeah.
I was at an event, it was last week, and we were asked to participate in the event, and I said to my CEO, I said to him, is there swag? I'm not going to this event if they're not giving me something cool, right? So you're always guaranteed to get something. It might be a mug, it might be a t-shirt, it might be some stickers, who knows? But go, because there are sponsors there. You might even win things. Just participate. Go and see what it's like. If you don't like it, great. You don't have to stay there. You can go home. You're not forced to stick around. If it doesn't work for you, then go look for an online community. But there are so many different ways. There's online communities. There's in-person communities. There's a Discord communities. Follow people on Twitter, Instagram, well, Twitter mainly, Twitter and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And it's there. The tooling is there. Back in my days, I sound like I'm that old. We never had the facilities.
I have literally seen people going to such events for to search job opportunities to get a job, because over there, people who come for the event, they all are working somewhere, at least in a good company. And obviously, if you talk to them about your whatever you're working on, they can actually help you out to get a job as well. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen people doing that. So that's the best thing about it.
The
So
larger events are definitely driven towards that. You look at people like OfferZen, which is all about finding developers across the planet. They usually have stands at these bigger events, not just a community event. And a lot of time they'll sponsor
mhm,
your event because they want to hire people, right? They're
yeah.
looking for skills, and that's where you can actually, meet someone. Hey, I'm a developer. What do you do? Oh, I'm in procurement. We're looking for a developer. What skills do you have? Can I get your CV? And next thing you know, you have a job, right?
Yeah, that's the power of these meetups. So, also, you're a Microsoft MVP, right? Can you
Yes.
share your journey in becoming an MVP? And I guess you have received awards for a lot of MVP posts as well. Can you tell us a bit about that as well?
So the Microsoft Most Valuable Professional MVP. That's the title, Most Valuable Professional. It's an award given to people who help build community and use their technical expertise in sharing their knowledge about a specific category or topic inside of the Microsoft ecosystem. That's what it is. There's no 12 steps and you'll become an MVP or you write exams. It's about what it's your community contributions. And Microsoft awards you with a designation once a year. We usually get renewed in July, at the end of June, beginning of July, based on your community contributions. And it's just Microsoft's way of saying thank you for everything that you're doing for the community in the technology space that you are in. I think I've been an 8-time MVP. I've got dual categories. I'm an MVP in Azure and an MVP in Microsoft 365. Um, and it definitely helps. I do it, it's a byproduct of what you do. And a lot of people ask me, how do I become an MVP? Well, if you're passionate about technology, share your knowledge. And a byproduct of you sharing your knowledge and being interested in community is Microsoft should be able to identify you to see if you qualify to become an MVP, because it's about your community contribution. It's not a certification. It's not an exam that you take. There's no 12 steps to becoming an MVP. It's really about your passion for community and learning through sharing, helping people grow. So go do that, and hopefully Microsoft will award you or reward you with the MVP award.
That is amazing. And congratulations with all those awards. That's a huge achievement.
Thank you.
So, what advice will you give to a person who is starting up their career in the IT industry that you have learned throughout your journey from all the ups and downs?
Um, get a base understanding of IT, right, in its totality. So, what is infrastructure? Get to simple stuff. You can go into YouTube and people will just Google what is infrastructure, and they'll tell you about what hardware is. Then have a look at what software is and the different applications, supply chain management, ERP, social, enterprise social, all of those things, so that you get a general understanding. And then from there, make the decision around what do you want to specialize in? What do you enjoy? Some people like analytics, so they go into databases and they're writing these big queries, right, in business intelligence. Some people like the infrastructure, so they go into hardware. Some people like enterprise social, so they go into products like Yammer and Teams, and find your niche. You can be a generalist with a specific focus area, right? Go do that if you want to get into IT. Don't rush into my dad or someone else says I should be a programmer, I'm going to go do programming, and then 4 years down the line you realize, well, shit, man, I don't want to be a programmer. This doesn't interest me. BI interests me. So go find out what's available. Understand IT and the total length and breadth of IT at a just an introductory level. You don't need to spend 4 years researching this, but understand what it is so that when people talk about it, that you're not clueless. And then find your passion, find your tribe. If you enjoy what you're doing, you don't work a day in your life, right? And that's really what it's about. Go find something that you enjoy doing. And if you're passionate about it, you will be successful.
Amazing. Um, I guess with this, we can end today's session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and sharing your journey with us. And thank you to all the listeners who joined us. And stay tuned because we're going to come up with many more videos like this.
Fantastic. If you need to get hold of me, I'm at Alistair Pugin. Just reach out to everyone. I happily jump on a call with anyone to if they have any questions. Find me on the interwebs. Ciao,
Amazing.
ciao.
Bye bye.